Before we begin, thank you very much to Small in Size but Big in Spirit Convoy for joining the Patreon campaign. Well, you know what? We have a lot of characters like that in Transformers, and good for them. Good for them. Keep fighting the good fight, you short kings. Thank you very much for the support. I'm trying to do more on Patreon. By the way, you see that the TJTV archives are slowly being uploaded. I throw a few up every first, second of the month, and I'm working on some new stuff too for Patreon content. I'm starting to record like my first box openings of new toys. That way, people can see like my first reactions to them. And especially like for toys that I don't intend to review, but you might see some of those up soon. But that said, let us get into another episode of The Toy Store Life, because I've had a few incidents that have gotten me a little bit in the mood to talk about children. Now, I like children. Most children who come in here are surprisingly well behaved. You think that, yes, like they do get excited, but they mind their own business. They don't go out of their way to harm anything. They are, for the most part, behaved. Most of them, frankly, are just laser focused in on the Pokemon section that we have in the back. However, kids will be kids, and there are some kids you just cannot wrangle. You cannot. Children in a toy store like this can become very overstimulated very quickly. They can forget what their parents told them before they came into the store, and they can get into some chaos, and that is what I'm here to describe to you today. And we can start with simple things. See, this arcade cabinet, despite the sign, is in full working order. In fact, we have had several people come in, claim they are buying it, and then, never showing up again. But that's how that goes. So the whole reason for the sign is because kids would start smashing the buttons, or their favorite thing to do is grab both of the joysticks and just start rocking. Just back and forth, cranking on the joysticks with their full body weight, thinking that they, like just basically like gorillaing these like things. Okay, and I have to, okay, that's got to stop, please don't do that. So please do not touch. Trying something to keep their hands off. Some kids, yes. See, I was banking on the fact that if a kid is large enough to reach the controls on the arcade cabinet, they would be old enough to actually read the sign. But again, kids get overstimulated in here. They tunnel vision. They are no longer paying attention to the signs. So I kind of have to like guide a parent over. Okay, can you hear that noise? Can you do something? Can you do something, please? Because I don't want to like yell at the kid. I don't want to traumatize the kid or anything. No. The parent needs to handle that. The parent needs to pay attention. It's like if there's a noise going on that is not a noise you should hear in a store, parent needs to be on top of that. So like half the time they still crank the sticks and pray to God that those things still work by the time someone actually does put money down for that machine. That's a common situation. That's a very common situation. Let me go into what happened just today, as a matter of fact. I have accumulated some of these stories, but actually, like, there has been a frequency to them, which is why I am doing the video now. So, today, a mother came in with 3 small children and a 4th in a stroller. Anytime a parent comes in with more than 2, I immediately know I might lose some value in the inventory. Something is going to take a dent. Something is going to be pulled open. Something is going to happen. Well, These are three grabby kids. They are grabbing whatever they want, shoving it in the mom's face, begging for her to buy it, even if it's not something they want. They just like, it was pretty when they picked it up. You know, something they will lose interest in as soon as they get home if they were to buy it. So, you know, I have a, you know, like kid brings up, you know, like a $45 Pokemon action figure, and mom goes, no way. Little girl brings up a tech deck, like from like the first year of those things, and those have gotten crazy expensive. $40 for a sealed finger skateboard, largely because of the art on it rather than the actual toy itself. And the mother goes, no, put that back, not even a chance. But the kids are just rowdy. As she's wrangling one, the other two are acting up. So two of them spot these, like this little corner thing of plushies we have. It's mostly just leftovers from crane games that I like to play. So the kids start just like getting rowdy. One of them picks up the Robin and just starts swinging it at the other kid. So now they're just swinging these plushies at each other. And I'm going like, please don't rip the head off. Please don't rip the head off. Please don't rip the head off. Mother stops it, puts it down, admonishes both kids. As soon as she turns her back, kid picks up the Starfire, swings that one. Mom has to turn back around. No, stop that. Stop that one too. Hands off, hands off. Kid in the stroller starts screaming. That's not helping. Normally, screaming in a toy store is like, okay, well, now it feels like a real toy store. But this is that kind of like ear-piercing thing that like makes you want to just gouge a pencil through your head to make it stop. But I only have pens here, so I had to keep listening to this. And then in one of the strangest things I've seen a child do, they ran over to the rug we have in front of the register, going, Mom, it's a big dollar bill, and starts picking up the rug. They start picking up the rug and holding it above their head like they are going to drag it to their mom to see. And now the mom is even more annoyed. She's trying so hard to save face. Like, she's trying to make a few jokey things with me. She's kind of laughing at it, but like, it's through frustration. She's looking for a little bit of she's looking a little bit of brevity from all this. So thankfully, that happens without incident. That is just like 3 grabby kids plus a very loud distraction. To any parent watching who thinks they can take more than 2 kids to any type of collector store, toy store, or anything like that, and be able to handle them all on your own, no, you can't. No, you can't. Kids will get overstimulated. Even a normally behaved child will get extra excited in a place like this. And if you thought you could handle them in one store, you're not going to be able to handle them in this store or any store akin to this. So please, if you can keep it to 2, keep it to 2. If you can bring back up, because that is just way too much for just your common citizen to handle. Let's put it that way. Okay, let's talk about this Charizard. So, I think it's like a couple Christmases ago, they did that big Charizard Pokemon box that had like a ton of packs all throughout this like cube display that they had. And then the centerpiece is this Charizard statue where the flames can actually hold a card. So we had to open up a few of those just to have enough like individual packs to sell. It's actually fairly common practice when the boxes are more common and harder to sell than just the individual packs. But in this case, that meant we were left over with a whole bunch of these Charizard statues that need to sell somehow. So we put them out for display to see, for the people who want to buy one individually, put a price tag on it. But people weren't aware that it could actually hold a card. Okay, so the box came with a bunch of promos. I grabbed the promo Charizard. It's not worth a whole lot because, it's a Charizard, but it's a promo anyone could get by buying the box. And I put it in little flames where it's supposed to hold on to a card. Nothing to it. Except it kept getting stolen. Because kids who can reach that high on the counter just see a Charizard, and if I'm distracted with some other customer at the other side of the store, if I'm like fishing out packs for from their mom or something or whatever. Kid just reaches up, takes it, pockets it, and walks out. And then I just notice at the end of the day that the card's gone. And this happens a couple times before I decide, these Charizards are just not worth a whole lot, so I don't mind sacrificing them. But a kid can't be stealing a whole bunch of cards from a shop and just getting away with it. So now the one that's on display has this written on it. So if anyone goes to the corner to check the rarity, they find out what happened. Oh, and just in case that wasn't enough, I also wrote on the back, you should not steal things. So this one hasn't gotten stolen. I feel like if anyone has grabbed this one, they immediately saw the marks on it and went, no, put that away. And all the markings are in places you can't see when it's in the holder. That's the great part. So they only figure out when it's too late. So that's my little deterrent. That's my little, harsh lesson. So now let's talk about this display. We don't have many Lego or build your own kit kind of toys in the shop. I kind of wish we did. Model kits would be great here if we could get an order in on those. But right now we just have a few Lego sets and that strange Erector set. It's actually Max Steel from RoboForce. For those who remember the Glyos line that we used to cover here on the channel. Yeah, it's the same RoboForce toy line. Same thing, same characters. Except this is built out of an Erector. It's one of the earliest times I'd ever seen one toy line collaborating with another toy line. This one involves a child. It's just a dad with two of his kids. And they are grabby kids. They are just akin to the ones I just talked about. They are the type to just grab everything, drag it along with them until their dad catches them and tells them to put it back. So when you have two at once, then it becomes trouble. So two you can handle, three is right out. But two can be trouble if they are grabby kids. These were both grabby kids. So as the dad is trying to get one to put his stuff back, the other kid has spotted this Erector set. He just sees the neat robot on the box, and he just starts reaching up to grab the box. Now, this is just out of his reach. Little kid. So he manages to get a hand on the box, but instead of being able to pull it down to look at it, it's an Erector set with metal parts. It's heavier than he thought. So all he managed to do was tip it forward and make the whole thing fall. Well, when it started to fall, he panics and steps back and loses his balance a little bit. So he grabs the Lego set to try and balance himself. So all of his weight comes down on that box as he grabs it and snaps the plastic shelf that it is sitting on. These shelves are actually fairly sturdy, so the fact that he managed to do this is a little bit surprising. But that goes snap. Dad is immediately paying attention because now half of this display is now on the floor. Luckily, kid doesn't fall down. Luckily, the kid is fine. No one got hurt here. And it's Lego and Erector. It's stuff that was already disassembled. So I'm not concerned about anything damaged here. I'm more or less just thinking, make sure everyone's okay. Everyone is okay. Dad is incredibly apologetic because I think in part of him, he was just worried about, oh God, I don't have to pay $200 worth of old toys now. No, we're fine. We're fine. I'm out a plastic shelf and had a little bit of a panic attack because that's one of the louder noises that's happened in the shop. But again, grabby kids have to be monitored. We're going to have one more story that is another grabby kid. And this one is a while ago. And this involved a grandmother. And the grandma, youngish grandma, by the way, bringing two little kids into the toy store. So here's the thing. Grandparents bring their grandkids into these stores a lot, thinking it's going to be like a normal old-fashioned toy store, or just normal toys here, plushies, little classic toys like Slinkies and stuff. They don't realize it's a collector's toy store. That part escapes them completely. So here I am with a grandma who is notably frustrated already. I feel like her grandkids kind of like browbeat her into coming here. And the kids are going nuts. The kids are grabbers. The kids are grabbing everything. And she is trying to wrangle them to an extent, but also not really. Like, she's being very hands off with them. She's engaging more with me. So I'm just trying to, like, she's asking me about the store, and as I'm explaining things, she's taking her eyes off these kids for approximately 20 seconds. With grabby kids, that's too long. And both of us hear a rip. One of the children has managed to get to this Barbie car that is from the 90s and has been sealed now for over 30 years and ripped the lid open. Now, granted, probably because the glue on it had been dried out over the years, so this probably wasn't holding together all that well in the first place. But the fact was, it was holding, and it is no longer a mint item. Grandmother is freaking out because this is a $75 piece, and there's nothing she can do with a big pink Barbie car, because she's immediately realizes she's now on the hook for this. And she is trying so hard to pass the blame here. It's like, well, why can't you reseal it and just sell it? Because it's a vintage item. Once the seal's broken, that's it. It's no longer worth its price. Well, you shouldn't have it down here where the kids can reach it. Look at this store. Look at how much stuff is here. Do you want all of this stuff raised 3 feet off the ground so no child can have their hands on it? Do you expect out of Target and Walmart? No, you don't. That's what I wanted to say. What I have to say is that we are not liable for damage incurred by the customer or those in charge or those monitoring children in the store. It's your responsibility. Like, you brought 2 rowdy kids into a toy store. If they damage something, that's on you for not watching them. And she's very bitter about this, very upset over all this. So I employ my favorite stratagem. My favorite stratagem is throwing my boss under the bus. So here's what I do. I text the boss what just happened. But as I'm waiting for him to respond and give me like what he would like me to do, I kind of figure out what I'm going to do myself. So the way I tell it to her is, okay, before the boss has even responded, I talk to her and go, okay, yeah. So what we're doing here is, like, normally, like, yes, it's been opened, it's damaged now. We can't sell it in this we normally can't sell it in this condition. But you'd be, you know, in any other situation, you would have to pay for the damages. So in this case, because we also have opened items for sale, what we are going to do instead is that we will keep the item. You will not be stuck with a big pink Barbie car, but we are going to ask you to pay the difference between a sealed version of it and an opened version of it, which is like $25. Then basically I incurred a $25 fee to this woman for a product getting damaged on her, due to her responsibility getting out of hand. And I tell her, like, and this is something where I go like, this is not our normal policy, but I'm pushing this a little bit to try and do just so you're not leaving too upset and all this, just to try and make this easier on you. And as soon as I tell her I'm going against the store's policy, her mood shifts immediately from the frustration to an actual level of concern. Because now I've turned my boss into the bad guy. Now it's the boss who wants me to charge her full price, and now I'm going against the boss to be more cordial and more professional with her, and to be more in her favor. So now she's like, "You're not going to get in trouble for that, are you?" I'll handle it. Don't worry. Don't worry. Charge her the 25. We kept the Barbie car. We just sell it as an open product now. And the boss texts back to me, is like, well, give it to her for like half because we can't be responsible for that. I text him what I actually did after she left. And about 5 minutes later, I get a thumbs up and a congratulations. Like, yep, that's actually a really good solution. Good call, manager. Diffused the situation well. Is what it is. Is what it is. So it's a rolling with the punches type story there at the end, because that's the call you got to make when you're in charge of a store like this. Even if you don't own it, you still got to make those calls. I try to be as nice about it as possible. That said, it's really the only occurrence we've had like that in the store, but it's also the reason why we now have a policy about any kids 10 and under in this shop. So that is kids in the toy store. And again, I love dealing with the kids in the shop. You know, I keep the magic tricks around just to entertain some of them when they're here. And I don't mind looking at their Pokemon collections. Even if they want to tell me that their Charizard with 47,000 hit points is a real card. It is what it is. But yeah, it's the situations you have to deal with when you're running this place. It's typical manager stuff. Though as a toy store manager, it's got a lot of different flavor to it. So you handle the grabby kids along with the nice ones, and you just try to make everyone happy in any situation that comes up, and then clean up afterwards. That's the toy store life.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.